Hello, my name is Abel Sanchez. In this lesson, we're going to be talking about data formats. And in the world of the web, the world of JavaScript, the most important and most used format is JSON. That's the JavaScript object notation. And you can see here at the top of the page how those statements are defined. You can see that it starts with a bracket and then you have your value pair, string, and value, and that each of those values can itself be another object, as you can see down there. So you can have that rich nesting to represent tables or list of information. So let's go ahead and take a look at what one of these actually looks like in practice. Let me switch over to my editor, and you can see here that I've declared a number of users. I'm putting this JSON statement into a variable for convenience. When we do that, the JavaScript language evaluates the statement into an object, and we will see how we take advantage of that in a minute. But before we do that, let's go ahead and show you here the first value pair. We have users, and then on the other side of that, we have actually an array. Each of those elements in the array is also using the JSON format. Note that it has those value pairs as well. And you can see here, if I move over and highlight the first one, you can see here name Michael. I've done the same thing with email and phone. So that's a basic declaration of a JSON statement. Now let's go ahead and take a look at how we might consume this within our HTML page and JSON code. So we can see here that we have the typical web page we've been using where we have a button to trigger a call to a function in JavaScript. So we can see here in this case we've called the function readJSON, and within our script block we have that function defined, readJSON. We're then accessing the information from that declaration that we made. Now before I get into this part, let me also note that at line 5 here, you can note that we've referenced that file, data.json. They're both in the same directory, so there's no need to provide additional hierarchy. You simply list the name of the file. Now, coming back to the function, we note here this is the line that accesses the information. Let's go ahead and call out a few details. We can see here data. That's the name of the variable, if we go back here. Now from there on, every tier in the hierarchy, we would do a dot. In this case, the first one is users, and after that, we have the items of that array of users, right? 1, 2, 3. So we can see here users. So let's go back here, and we can see that we have data.users, and the way you denote an item with an array is you do brackets in the position of the item that you're searching for in that array. Arrays are zero based, so they start at 0. In this case, I'm going to be accessing the very first element, which is this. You can see name Michael. So if all goes well, when we run this code, we should be able to, on this alert, which gives us a pop-up, we should be able to see the name of Michael. Let's go ahead and go over to the browser, and we can see here, if we look at the source, that we have that code in the background. And let's go ahead and execute that button. Okay, there we go, Michael. Now let's go ahead and make a change simply to the note that this is dynamic. I'm going to go ahead and save, go back to the browser, reload the page so we get the new code. And we can see that now we're accessing Paul. So if we go back to that JSON file, we can see that the second name, it's Paul. So there's quite a bit going on here. This is a lot of concepts coming together. We have JavaScript. We have a function that's being called within that JavaScript block. There's a file being loaded, data.json. There's an object being formed, and then we're using a dot notation to access the elements within that JSON statement. So make sure you go through this. Make sure you can replicate what I've shown you. Make sure you get comfortable and familiar with the JSON format, how we're evaluating those statements into an object, that you can actually move through the object with this dot notation, and that you understand how all of that is coming together. So with that, I'd like to thank you for your attention and say goodbye. Goodbye.